You have already stopped in the middle of an empty house and asked yourself, why do you look like we never have enough? Why does the money go up as if it had never entered? After many years of life, I came to an important conclusion. Scarcity is not the result of chance. It is not always linked to lack of employment or study. I met families who, despite having little, lived with genuine joy, and others who, even with material abundance, carried a constant void and anxiety that did not abandon them. I will be frank from the beginning. The truth about the precarious financial situation can be difficult to swallow. It moves our pride, our habits, and even the way we see life. But if you are willing to face reality head on, this knowledge has the power to transform everything: your finances, your quality of life, and even relationships at home. Today, I will share 7 hard truths, but proven by experience and time. They do not promise instant enrichment or magic formulas to multiply their money overnight. Instead, they will show a solid path, one that leads to stability, prosperity, and the tranquility of knowing that tomorrow is safe. I remember when, still young, I was in the kitchen of my first apartment and asked me, why does the money run down the fingers? Why does my work seem not to bear fruit? I was intelligent, dedicated, and honest, but I still missed a constant foul, as if the world had already decided how much I deserved to receive. Years later, I understood that the problem was not the money itself, but the relationship we kept with it. Our posture before life, our habits, and, above all, the small decisions we make every day. A mistake of thought, a mistaken choice, and behold, the house becomes empty again, and the heart heavy. The good news is that these 7 truths can be dominated. They were tested for generations. I saw families who, by accepting them and put them into practice, left debts, built business, and created stable sources of income. I saw homes that filled with joy and peace when people stopped running away from the truth. Pay attention, because then I will share real stories, personal observations, and lessons I learned through my own stumblings and the mistakes of those around me. These lessons may sound hard or even uncomfortable, but they open the doors for a truly prosperous life. And here's the first question you should ask yourself right now. Are you prepared to hear a truth that can change your home and your life, or prefers to continue living in illusions that, although dating, do not bring growth? I don't say this to scare or judge anyone. I speak as someone who knew both sides, the empty house and the security that comes every new day. If you stay until the end, you will leave here with an understanding that can revolutionize your way of dealing with money, family, and yourself. So stay with us. Do not advance fast. In the next few minutes, I will reveal things that few people talk openly, but work, heaven, tested for time, and can open doors that you didn't even think existed. Take a deep breath and reflect on how you live today. Think about what you keep your home in scarcity, even with all your commitment. Prepare yourself, because the following 7 truths can be difficult, but they are honest, and only honesty has the power to transform their reality. First truth: the fear of risking and changing. The main and perhaps the deepest reason for the lack of prosperity is fear. Fear of losing what you already have, fear of taking a step in the unknown. I saw it in me and many friends, people who spend years in the same job, afraid of resignation, opening a business, moving to another city, or starting a new project. They call this stability, but they are actually current. I already lived like this too. In youth, I was afraid to change work, thinking, what if it doesn't work? Until, one day, I decided to risk it. I opened a small business that, at first, could barely pay the bills. But month after month, I learned, correcting errors, and in 3 years my income had multiplied. The lesson is clear. Abundance comes to those who act, not for those who are paralyzed with fear. A small risk today can become a great success tomorrow. Fear is natural, but it cannot be the one who dictates their choices. Second truth: greed or economy without purpose. Another reason for scarcity is the distorted relationship with the money. I met families who saved everything in food, studies, themselves, and children. It seemed economy, but in practice they were missed opportunities. Saving is good as long as it is intelligent. An acquaintance of mine, for example, spent his life buying only the cheapest, ignoring investments in knowledge and health. It has accumulated small economies, but lost its chance to grow and improve its life. Meanwhile, someone else, who invested in himself and learned new skills, has achieved success in a few years. The conclusion is simple. Sometimes you need to apply resources to yourself to gather larger results. The money needs to circulate, work, not stand still. Third truth: the wrong social circle. The environment in which you live shape your trajectory. You become an average of the 5 people with whom you live most. If they live complaining, afraid, depending on the salary, you will tend to repeat these standards. I lost years until I understand this. When I changed my circle, living with people who develop, undertake, study, and invest, my life also became new ideas, new opportunities, and new sources of income emerged. The lesson is clear. If you want to change your life, change your surroundings. It may hurt to move away from dear people, but growth requires it. Fourth truth, procrastination and laziness. The habit of postponing is another great villain. Many people say, I start tomorrow on Monday when you are more willing, but tomorrow becomes a year, and the year becomes a decade. I've done it too. I postponed important things, studies, investments, decisions. The result, lost years. Only when I started to act, even in small steps, everything changed. A small daily action towards growth is a powerful force. The lesson is, action is worth more than intention. Discipline builds wealth. The procrastination, the scarcity. Fifth truth, lack of objectives and planning. Without a clear course, money disappears like water between the fingers. I saw families who received the salary and spent it without discretion. Surprises when they realize that nothing left. I have already lived myself like this. No goals, no budget, until creating a system with monthly, weekly, and daily goals. And it works. The lesson is goals and planning are the map for prosperity. Without them, you walk in circles, even having resources and talent. Sixth truth, the resistance to learning and evolving. Who stops developing is left behind. I met people who dominated a skill well but settled and did not follow the changes. The world does not stop, and who does not update loses space. The lesson is continuous learning is the fuel for success. Who invests in knowledge today reaps fruits tomorrow. Seventh truth, the mistaken relationship with the money. The last and one of the deepest causes of financial instability is how we look at the money. Many people see an end in itself, a symbol of status, or even an object of fear or aversion. Others accumulate it without purpose, as if simple possession guaranteed security. But reality is one. Money is a tool. If you fear it, it drips between your fingers. If the idolatum, he becomes his lord. If managing it wisely, he works in his favor. I saw cases of people who earned fortunes, but for lack of control, they lost everything in impulsive spending or risky investments. And I also saw those who, even with modest income, knew how to multiply their resources because they learned to plan, invest, and distribute with intelligence. The result, his homes were full of material goods, but of tranquility and purpose. The lesson is clear. Money is neither a trophy nor a burden. It is a means to build the life you want. Master this tool, and it will serve you, not the other way around. These 7 truths are not abstract theories. These are lessons forged in practice in the daily life of generations, in my own journey and those of those who were by my side. Each of them is reflected in their home, in their pocket, the relationships of their family. When you understand and apply them, the transformation is inevitable. The environment is filled with stability, joy, and peace. But if you ignore them, the scarcity knocks on the door again, even if your salary is high. These truths are hard, but fair. They require action, courage, and discipline. The price, the certainty of a safe future, abundance, and inner serenity. Now we get to the crucial point. What to do with all this? Reading and agreeing is easy. Applying is what makes the difference. And this is where most stumble. Many hear, nod, and think, this makes sense. Then they continue living the same way. But the line that separates those who transform the life of those only dreams of is made of attitudes. I ask you to stop for a moment and reflect. Are you ready to take responsibility for your life, your home, your family, your finances, and your habits? Are you willing to recognize that your daily choices shaped your reality? No, it's not simple. I went through it. There were days when each effort seemed useless, when the fear of the new overshadowed reason, in which poverty seemed an inevitable destination. But life tests us by resilience, and every step, however small, brings you closer to freedom and prosperity. Start with the basics. Analyze your home, your customs, your beliefs. Ask yourself honestly, where do I leave fear to dominate me? Where do I save blindly and lose opportunities? What habits, relationships, or thoughts prevent me from building the life I want? Write down the answers. Draw a plan, a small step a day. Remember, each action, even the simplest, has the power to rewrite its destination. It is not magic. It is the result of a consistent method, discipline, and responsibility. Allow yourself to dream of not only money, but with a home where there is warmth and security, where your children grow with the certainty that they are supported, where you are proud of what you build. But along with the dream, come the execution. Without action, the dream becomes illusion. I repeat, myself and you, a truth that has changed my trajectory. If you want to change the world around you, start with what you can control, your attitudes, your habits, your circle, your finances, all this is in your hands. Do not expect perfect conditions or miraculous solutions. Start with you, and the world around you will turn. And no, poverty is not a curse. It is a state created by choices and habits, and as such can be reversed. Anyone willing to learn, act, and assume command of their lives are able to raise a prosperous and happy home. The moment of acting is now. Take the first step, even small but conscious. Read, develop, surround yourself with people who inspire you. Set goals, manage your money. Little by little, you will see your home if you fill with peace, joy, and abundance. Keep this idea. Nothing comes by chance. Wealth and well-being are the result of daily effort, wise decisions, and the right mindset. The sooner you internalize this, the faster your life will change. If this content has resonated with you and wants to continue receiving proven lessons that work in practice, follow the space. Here we speak with transparency about money, habits, growth, and choices that define your future. Following this path is a commitment to yourself, a step towards a life where you lead your destiny rather than being led by circumstances. And never forget, you deserve more. It deserves abundance, deserves happiness in your home. Start today, one step at a time, and each day will be a piece in the construction of your new reality. A home full of prosperity, tranquility, and joy is not a dream. It is the result of your discipline, wisdom, and action. Finally, I leave a reflection that has transformed my life and that of many around me. Poverty is not in the lack of money, but in the lack of understanding, discipline, and attitude towards life. Start this insight, and everything else will become possible. The choice is yours. The change begins now.